Hey guys, JH, welcome to the practice tee. Okay, today I just want to go over something I did probably 18 months ago, and that was just a little instructional expose on pitching and chipping the ball and the technique associated with it. I think I called it Failsafe Chipping. Unfortunately, all those videos that I did got hacked on my golf channel and we've lost them all. So I've had a number of people ask me for them, so it's just opportune that I should do it now. Guys, my Failsafe pitching process and chipping process is something I've used from basically day one when I started golf, and I've always been a very good chipper and pitcher of the ball as a result. And it's basically just revolves around a mechanical elementary process of setting up to the golf ball. And I'm over here in the rough today, guys, because it's so hot here, and I just thought I'd come over. So it's actually rough, so it's a little bit tough. You probably can't even see the ball, but we'll soldier on. So guys, what I advocate to be a good chipper and pitcher of the ball and to have a fail-safe system is this. I believe that the biggest single problem with people who pitch the ball and chip the ball inconsistently is the placement of the chest match relative to the shot. And that really is it in a nutshell. And what happens with the majority of handicap players or club players is that they have the right intention in that they will place their leg weight forward of the ball. And they set up like that, and they say, yeah, that's good, weight's on my left side. Well, the only weight that's on your left side there is your leg weight, because the majority of them will set up with that weight there, but the body, the sternum and all this mass up here is behind the golf ball. And if the sternum is behind the golf ball, and particularly this part of the anatomy here, that means that the bottom of your arc, your swing arc, is back here. Now that's going to program a fat shot, invariably. Now the one thing you want to have and you need in chipping and pitching, if you're going to be consistent, is to hit the ball first every time you play a shot. And that's elementary, guys, we know that, but majority of us don't, and we have a lot of trouble working out why we don't. Well, I can tell you categorically that that's the reason. It's the way you position your upper half over the ball at address. So you should think, okay, I've got my legs forward, I've got a pretty narrow stance, I've got most of I unload my right leg, I push my right knee forward a little bit, and I load my leg, but I get my chest in front of the ball. Here, I feel that my sternum is pointing 6 inches in front of the ball. Now the advantage of that is that my club head is still going to be moving down and through the ball when I hit it. It's not going to be moving into the ground and then up, as we see with a lot of handicap players. So the first fundamental, or the first requirement, is that we set our weight left on that left foot. We unload that right foot a little bit, just kick that knee in, but put the sternum in front. That allows us to put the hands forward in that position there and maintain that position when we hit it. Now the other thing that I do, which is a little idiosyncratic to my game, is that for every pitch shot I hit, I make sure that the club in my mind stays on the ground to there. It's still going down there. I'm not pitching the club and letting the shaft of the head come up. I'm forcing the shaft down and through the ground and continuing it on in my mind so that I would hit that golf ball. And that's actually just keeping the club very low through the golf ball. Very low through the golf ball. I call that brushing, but brushing with intent and a little bit of vigour. If I was going to hit a little chip shot, see that ball there? I would endeavour for the club to hit them both. Which I did. But the majority of players the club would come up and the club would actually go over that ball. And you've got no control when you do that, guys. You can't get any nip, you can't get any grab on the ball, and you get a very inconsistent shot. The other thing, guys, that I do that's a little bit different to most people is that when I set up to pitch or chip the ball, I do it from a closed hip line. I might have my left leg and my left foot just back a little bit off the line. That's just to set my weight. But I want to feel that my hips are closed and my shoulder and chest are closed when I hit the ball. Now the reason I do that, guys, is that gives me a very, very insignificant path differential attack on the golf ball. If I set up with an open body line, and most people think that they just want to get open and cut across the ball and scoot it up in the air, that's too hard, guys. This is a very commercial way of hitting chip shots and pitch shots. I set up and I have my hips closed, I have my shoulders closed, and I want to maintain that relationship when I hit the ball. I want to hit the ball from a closed body position. Now we don't need any rotation because there's not a lot of energy in the shot, so we don't need any rotation. We can just basically do this. Now I can generate enough arm swing there to hit the ball, 35-40 metres, which is what I call a critical pitch distance, anywhere from sort of 25 to 40 metres. You can use that action. And for a chip, you certainly don't need any rotation. You want to eliminate the rotation completely. So if we're going to chip the ball, and I'll just chip one here in the rough, guys, but so it's not going to go anywhere, but I'll just chip it this way here through the rough. Just a little runner here. But watch my body line, my hip line and my chest line when I hit the ball. Now this is a little chip shot. So I'm close to the shot. See? I haven't let the golf club be victim to the torso turning or the hips turning, which would pull it offline. Now the other important thing that I do when I pitch and chip the golf ball on any shot is I release the golf club quite aggressively. And I'll just chip one this way. I'll hit a little chip shot. So I'm going to hit a little chip shot to those palm trees there, which is about a 20 foot chip shot onto the green. Most people spoon it or scoop it. I'm very, very cognizant of rotating the club down and trapping the ball with a release. Now the body's in front, the body line is shut, the body, that being the sternum, and I release the club down. See, believe it or not, guys, the release down squares the club face up. That's what actually squares the club face up, is the release down and the lowness of the golf club through the ball. Sternum in front, closed body line. And guys, I let my weight shuttle. I let it shuttle as I hit the ball. Those hips shuttling and that shoulder line shuttling keeps the club on line even more. That's an extra fail-safe mechanism. So I feel like I lean on the golf ball when I hit it. But it's all lateral. There's no rotation value. It's just lateral, lateral, lateral. Here, little chip. I'll hit this one a little bit harder, as if I was going to hit a little pitch. So don't let anything rotate off the line. If you do, any of the components that rotate will take your arms with it, which takes the shaft with it. Okay guys, I'll come back and I'll show you how to hit some of the shots.